Welcome to A Word of Hope. I'm Brother Edward coming to you from Madison, Wisconsin on this feast of St. Luke, October the 18th. Luke takes time to present Jesus as a person who has this compassion and attentiveness to those that are easily marginalized in the society in which he's living. So we see a number of stories where Jesus illustrates compassion. We see the story of the Good Samaritan, the story of the Samaritan woman at the well, and we see the prodigal son. These stories are only found in his gospel. And we also find in Luke's gospel this notion that Jesus is calling those beyond, those who narrowly believed that they were the only ones to be saved. So he's pushing the universalism of God. And so many times in the story, especially when his adversaries test him, he turns the story around, if you will. Some people would say, well, he's turning things upside down. But I would say Jesus is turning things right side up, because in the cultural world, the religious world of ancient Israel, they have often forgotten the true desire of God for humanity. And so Jesus is teaching them through his actions and his parables the correct way of looking at life among us. So we see these stories today in Luke's gospel as a challenge for us to be more compassionate, to be more attentive to the poor, and in some ways, you might say, to be more attentive to the needs of women in the church. In the ancient world, it was improper for a man to be alone with a woman in conversation. And yet we see Jesus alone at the well with this woman who had been married 5 times, who she experiences conversion through that gesture. And we see him with Mary and Martha at the time of Lazarus' death. So we see Jesus interacting with women, not as a group set apart and maybe even a little dangerous, but rather as disciples and colleagues in the mission of salvation. So let us take from Luke's gospel those challenges, grow in them in our own personal lives and in the lives of the church as we move forward into the future.